So when I first started my self-improvement journey like years ago, I used to think that being productive meant having 10 different goals and habits and basically just having a habit tracker filled with so much different random shit on there, or maybe having like 10 different journals, or just doing so much things throughout the day that low-key was just taking up so much of my time, and it was kind of taken away from the main thing I could have just been doing the whole day that aligned with the one specific goal that I had the entire time. And so I know that like a lot of the things that I was doing throughout my day, like waking up, having a whole morning routine, then doing X, Y, and Z throughout the day, all these things that I was doing, I only saw it on TikTok or like around the self-improvement niche and the sphere online, and I thought, okay, I have to do those things too. That's what will make me productive throughout my day, right? When in reality, it was only taking me away from my actual goal, because I realized that highly successful people, the way that they align their entire day or their entire life is that they only do things that are very specific to their actual goal that they have for themselves, right? They align their whole life to that specific goal. They don't waste their time doing X, Y, and Z things throughout the day. This one concept that I learned really helped me become much more productive in my own goals and my own day-to-day life, right? When I started focusing on just one thing rather than all these other habits. And that one concept is going to be meta tasks, right? So again, you're probably in your self-improvement journey right now, and you have probably heard the idea of have a habit tracker. Have a habit tracker where you have all these different habits that you have to do throughout the day, and you've been told that like it's good to like help you stay accountable and see growth and things like that, which is great, right? I definitely think that like that's like very good like beginner tip for anyone who starts to do self-improvement and like want to change their life around and like get I just feel some type of structure in their life, right? I feel like that's a very good thing to have, but I feel like it gets to a point where once you start having very specific goals, right? And I'm a big believer where in life you should only have 2 to 3 goals at a time, right? 1 to 2, 3 max, right? Goals at a time. The more goals you have after that, the more diluted each one becomes, the more less focused each one becomes, and you just want to put most of your eggs into either 2 to 3 baskets, and that's about it. Because you only have 1 to 2 specific goals, you should align every single one of your habits or tasks throughout the day on those 2 goals, and everything else you can get rid of, because meta tasks means most effective tactic available, right? Meta is basically the 2 to 3 things that you need to do every single day that align yourself directly to your goal, so that way you can start seeing consistent progress throughout time. Because something that you're probably doing, and so many other people in the world do this when they're trying to get to their goals, is you're doing A/B tasks, any benefit tasks. And so there's meta tasks and there's any benefit tasks. Meta tasks, again, which is most effective tactic available, it's basically the 2 to 3 things that are most relevant to get to your goal. You need to do these things to get to your goal. While any benefit tasks, they're kind of the things where it's kind of like you don't really necessarily have to do it, right? There's no direct correlation between you doing this thing and success in whatever goal that you have. And so, but most people usually do any benefit tasks because they think they're being productive. They think it means something, right? If they can get any benefit from it, they're gonna do the thing, which is stupid because you're honestly just wasting a lot more time than you think you are. And so I kind of got to a point in my life where I started realizing that most of the habits that I had on my habit tracker, they're kind of fucking stupid. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like they were kind of just like, it's not helping me get to my overall goal in life. And so I was kind of like, I don't really need to do these things, right? Like I started realizing that I was doing a whole lot of any benefit tasks. And so an example, right? My whole goal is 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? I'm gonna get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's my biggest goal. And I realized that when I wake up in the morning and I start doing X, Y, and Z routines that I think it's gonna help me, and I start, I don't know, go outside and get some deep breaths, and then go eat a nutritional breakfast, and then go do this and that. I'm gonna be honest, like those are all good things, right? Those are good habits that you should have in life, but those should not be direct correlators to the success of my YouTube business that I have, right? My meta task, most available tactic available, the 2 to 3 things that's going to get me to my actual goal that have direct correlation to my goal is recording videos, editing videos, uploading videos. That's it. That's like the most specific things that I need to do in order to get to my goals. And so any benefit tasks, right? Again, so many people do any benefit tasks because they think they're being productive. They think they're doing work. A whole example of this is there's two YouTubers. There's me and there's a whole other guy we both have the same subscriber count. We're in the same position on YouTube, everything, right? Same niche, everything. And so what I decide to do is I'm solely focusing on my meta tasks, which is recording, scripting, editing, uploading. That's it. While the other guy, he's doing the same things, right? He's doing the same meta tasks, but then he's also very focused on any benefit task. He's focused on checking his analytics. He's focused on, looking at the YouTube comments, doing X, Y, and Z, or just whatever, right? Because he's been told that all those things are very important when becoming a YouTuber, and doing those things will help you grow, right? When in reality, it is not as important as you think. Because my whole rule is, my big three is, with any benefit task, you want to eliminate it, reduce as much as you do it, or just outsource it completely. And so things like checking comments, changing your YouTube banner, things like that, those don't have a direct correlation to the success of your channel, right? Those don't have a direct correlation to you growing numbers on YouTube, because we've seen YouTubers with some shitty profile pictures, with some terrible banners, that probably don't check analytics, and yet they are blowing up on YouTube, right? There's no direct correlation. The most important thing about YouTube is post a video, and that's it. Just post a video. That's the most important thing. Obviously, you want to improve in your videos and do things like that, where that's when I will argue that I'm not trying to say never do any benefit tasks, but just do them every so often, right? Do them every so often, or do the tasks where, example, with my whole YouTube, editing is the one thing that I realized that I could just outsource, right? Editing is a very important part when it comes to YouTube, right? There is a big correlator between that and uploading the video, getting it out there, connecting with people, things like that. But I realized that that's a task that I can outsource, and that has saved me so much time throughout my day compared to someone else who is taking hours a week on editing, right? And so that's just an example. Another example could be, I eliminated some tasks from my to-do list that probably just don't matter at all, such as checking my analytics. I'm gonna be honest, I don't check my analytics at all. I completely eliminated that from my to-do list because it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't, right? A lot of people, they'll tell you, oh, but it's very important. Check when people fall off of the retention, and check when this and this and this. Bro, put your video in front of your little sister, and as soon as your little sister starts getting bored, that's your analytics right there. That's how you know your video's shit, right? So analytics, I don't care. I don't gotta watch that. Numbers and everything. I just care about connecting to the people. That's it. So that's something that I eliminated, right? Another thing, something that I have reduced doing is maybe consuming other content or replying to comments or things like that, right? That's a task that I have reduced. So I still think it's important to connect with your people and things like that, but I just reduced the amount that I do it. And so with any benefit tasks, right, just to save you so much time throughout your day, either eliminate it completely if it's not helping you, reduce the amount you do it, right? So don't let it be the main task of the day when it's not gonna really get you as much when it's not going to get you as much benefit, or just outsource it completely, right? If it is important, find someone else who can do it for you, or do it just as good or even better, and just pay them to do it, right? Or maybe use AI to do it, right? I'm a big person, AI could be a tool if you use it ethically, right? Just outsource it, save up time throughout your day, and stop wasting it on a million different tasks that you have to do. Just focus on the 2 to 3 tasks that you have to do. And so this is a whole concept that I literally talk about in my course called Ambition Overload, which is linked in the description, right? The whole course is about basically taking that ambition, taking that drive that you have, and actually making a work ethic plan for yourself to actually start seeing results in your life, and how to be consistent with your goals. And so link is in the description to get access to the course. I dive into all topics such as work ethic, motivation, things like that. Anyways, let's move on though. So the last thing I want to talk about is basically just, again, using your energy in a more efficient way. So again, when you're focused on only just the 2 to 3 things that help you get to your main goal, your meta tasks, you're saving up so much energy that you can now put towards other things, rather than wasting it on a bunch of little mini things, a bunch of little any benefit tasks that really don't mean that much to your overall goal. And once you start only focusing on your 2 to 3 things, and you start realizing that you have much more time throughout the day, it's gonna feel really good, and you're just gonna naturally have more energy for other things. And this concept, I haven't read the book about it, but I have seen a lot of summaries on it. And the book is called The 4-Hour Work Week, where I think the whole book just basically talks about, you know, focusing on the main things that you have to do and basically outsourcing everything else. So that way you just have more time to yourself throughout the day and more energy to get things done. And I want to tell you guys a story about how a couple days ago I was at a basketball game, and it was the same day, or I think it was the day after, where I hired an editor for this channel. Alright, so I finally hired my first video editor. I sent him my YouTube video to edit, and while I was at this basketball game, a part of me kind of felt guilty, where I was like, oh my god, like I should be home editing a video. I need to do this, I need to do that. But then I realized, wait, that's something that I outsourced, right? And that's the whole, and like that's when it kind of had like a snap moment, like a click, like an aha moment in my head, where I'm just like, this is the whole point of business, is to focus on the main things that you need to do to keep the business going, and outsourcing everything else to people you hire, so that way they can get the task done while you have more time in your day to do other things. And when I realized that, I was like, oh shit, like I could either be wasting hours of my time editing my own video, or I can just outsource it to someone else, which I did, and now I have more time to record more videos and just find enjoyment in actually doing the main task of the business. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh yeah, yep, I'm about to be way more productive now, because I actually have time and energy to do things now, rather than wasting it on things that, again, you can either eliminate, complete outsource, or just reduce as much as you do it. And so hope this video helped. Again, link is in the description to get access to the course where I talk about all this in much more detail. But anyways, RNH Hunnid, stay Hunnid with yourself.